crying little.
Yoga.
Now, I believe everybody knows about the tweets from Justin Mcclure, but there is more information coming out about this family, and it's very interesting to see. And I do have a theory of my own of why this is coming out, because when you look at Justin Mcclure, I mean, it's not surprising to me about his tweets. I believe this is the fear of interracial dating, especially on my side. When I did open my choices up to other men, non-black men, this is a fear that someone could be lying to you. And I believe this is a fear for all men, no matter their race, that they're lying to you. They could use you for whatever benefit they can get out of you, and they really don't care about you or love you. The most recent revelation about the Mcclure family is that these two twins are not the biological daughters of Justin Mcclure, and she had these twins with a previous husband. That is unclear if that man is a husband or someone who she was seeing, but the information out right now is that this is her ex-husband. She stated that he used to physically abuse her, and that's why she got out of the relationship, and she met Justin Mcclure and married him because he didn't treat her like that, and he treated her well. I wanted to share something. I only have audio, I don't have video. This is Ami Mcclure, specifically talking about her culture, and I guess the differences, how she sees her culture versus African American culture, because her husband stated, you know, he could tell that she wasn't quote unquote African American, and he didn't want to use the word exotic, but he could tell there was a difference. And then when I heard what she said, then a lot of this came together for me to see how all of this happened and how she ended up with Justin Mcclure and why everything is coming out.
I want to say this without offending. I'm not trying to offend anybody, let's put it this way. We were raised in a certain culture that a lot of African Americans just don't have. Mm-hmm. You know, and I feel like I'm tiptoeing. Guys, don't be offended. I'm very proud of having a culture that has had standards that taught me certain values. It's a certain culture that just breeds a level of respect for elders, a respect for tradition, a respect for yourself, you know, just certain things that, and I speak generally, that, you know.
Now, after hearing that, I clearly understand what's going on now. And one, I have to say, I do not agree with these men attacking her, calling her certain names just because she married someone who's non-black, and all of these personal attacks. There are certain things that I don't agree with, because you can't be a hypocrite talking about what very few women are doing, but you don't come down equally on your male counterparts that do it the most. That's not the focus of what you're doing. If you really do not like interracial dating, and I know some people who they don't like it, and they don't like it with men or women, and they're very balanced and equal in the critique that they give. That's fine. but it's those who are literally dating white or married to biracial, or they have nothing to say about one gender over another. Then that's where you start to see the hypocritical nature. And a lot of women who are dark skinned, they are passed over for their light skinned counterparts, white women, non-black women. So you can't expect these women to just wither up and die, or just sit there and wait and cross their fingers. Hopefully they'll be picked. I believe if somebody of quality that can give you marriage and a life offers that to you, you should be accepting of that. And no matter who that is, in today's world, you have to be very, very careful and vet people to the best of your ability. I know people can be liars. They can trick you. They can choose to hold information back about themselves. People saying that you got yourself into it is very disingenuous, because there are predators out there, and there are people who will lie and they will not tell you the truth about themselves. So that's not on the person who was tricked in the relationship. It's about the predator that tricked that person in the relationship. But as far as this relationship go with the Mcclure family, she is from Nigeria. So she is African. She does not identify with the African American culture. She does not identify with African Americans at all. Looking at the family unit, it very much is a business to me. That's the way it looks. I mean, I'm sure they're making quite a bit of money, a good living, and I can see within the videos and how they're made, and they've been on Good Morning America. They're getting all these deals and offers for these two beautiful little girls that, they're capitalizing on that. But as far as their relationship goes, I believe that she knew about his jokes. She stated that it wasn't funny, but it wasn't racist. And that's how she felt. She shared some of the same sentiments about African American people that her husband does. And I'm not saying this about all African people. I'm just talking about certain African people who think this way. And as African Americans, we have to admit that there are African people who do not like African Americans, do not identify with us, do not like us at all. And they would be horrified to be seen as an African American. So we have to acknowledge that. But when her husband was making these jokes about certain names, these stereotypes, she was in 100% agreement with him. Because it's kind of like some of the women who follow Tommy Sotomayor. Some of these women, they are black, but they are not Black American women. These women are African women, or they're from the Caribbean, or they are from a Latin country, and they feel like they are not in any way connected with Black American women because of the scarlet letter that is placed on African American women in America. So they other themselves by their culture. And they can sit down and listen to what a Tommy Sotomayor has to say about Black women because they feel like he's talking about Black American women. And I'm sure that she has sat up and laughed at some of his jokes or agreed with some of his jokes because she feels like she's African and she is not African American. And I did hear a live stream basically by someone who was saying this is horrific. They're attacking this woman, and it's black women attacking another black woman, and they're trying to downplay what is going on. First of all, this family, when I first saw them, was presented as a family unit. Like, this is the mother, these are the twins, and this is the father. They were never presented as a blended family. And I think when you are putting yourself, your family out there on display or out there for the world to see, you have to be 100% honest about everything, because people will dig into your past and bring things up. So it's best for you to put everything out on the table so no one can say, well, these people were lying, these people were being deceitful, because nobody knew about the first husband. Everybody assumed that those girls were Justin Mcclure's. Some people actually said that they felt like he didn't look like them, so I guess they were right. What was presented was not the truth. I think that is what people are talking about, is the fact that this family was presented as a family unit. That's the father, that's the mother, those are the children. And there was no backstory given, so people who enjoy their story or think a certain way, they feel, lied to. Because if you're going to present it, and I 100% agree, just present it how it is. And I do believe that her feelings and her thoughts on African American women and the stereotypes that come with us played a part in her not divulging that these little girls were not biologically Justin Mcclure's. After hearing these new revelations, it became apparently clear at what happened. People who watched them felt deceived, not knowing that this is a blended family. The fact that they weren't presented as a blended family came from these stereotypes of African American women and her not wanting to be seen like that. She said in that audio she is proud of her culture because she was raised in a way that you have respect for your elders, you have respect for tradition, and you have respect for yourself, which she's saying that African American people don't have that. We don't have any self-respect, we don't respect our elders, and we have no respect for tradition, which a lot of our traditions were taken away from us during slavery. There is a study out there that says, black people, black Americans, are more likely to take care of their elders than anyone in America. And as far as self-respect, when in this system, some people will lower their self-respect, but that's due to the system. Basically, she's generalizing, but saying that us as a people have no self-respect, do not respect elders, and we don't respect tradition. She also stated that she comes from a culture that has certain standards that taught her certain values, and African American people do not have a culture that has any standards that teaches them values. So for her to say that, and that's her view, that's her POV, her point of view, when living amongst and viewing Black American people. It does sound like something that the dominant society would say, as far as, you know, black people having no standards, no values, no morals, no tradition, after everything that we've been through. You can see how she ended up with someone like Justin Mcclure, because she felt like her Nigerian culture has nothing to do with black Americans, and she's something different than a black American woman. And that also played into her hiding the fact that those children were not Justin Mcclure's. But I think this has been interesting. I am still disappointed in Swirl Nation and how they are caping for this. They consistently talk about black men, which I'm not caping for black men either, because they are out here acting a damn fool, saying things on social media that is making it just worse. Swirl Nation is just trying to take up for them, saying, you know, they didn't have to divulge this information. But when you put yourself out there, it's just like any celebrity on television or anything. People are going to dig into your past, into your life, and they want to know the truth. So it's best to just put it out in front. And people were saying they don't know why people were talking about her as far as having an issue with her and feeling that she insulted black Americans. Well, the audio is evidence of why black people were saying what they were saying, because the fact that you would just insult black people, you know, coming over here to America and benefiting off of what African Americans have done, having a space because of what African Americans have done, and then to say, you know, no standards, no values, no culture, no respect for elders, no respect for tradition, when you can find disrespectful people in all races. It's just, you know, that's something that I've heard, you know, certain African people say, and it's just been a few. Like I said, I know not all, and I know I have to say not all. So that is the update on all of the madness with the Mcclure family, with these twin girls. To be honest, I feel bad for the children that are involved in this mess, because it's not their fault. They are innocent children, and the adults in this did not make good decisions. But I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think about the situation. Do you think people are being too hard on Justin and Amari, or do you think that their choices and decisions have brought them to this place? Also, let me know, do you think that Amari is possibly someone of African descent that has a disdain for American black people? Go ahead and comment on that too, and I will see you in the next one.